I have always said that you can't understand the United States without understanding the history of South Carolina and this small state's impact on this big nation. So what did the recent South Carolina primaries tell us about ourselves? This is perspective. Hello, everybody. Mike Bedenbaugh here, independent candidate to the South Carolina 3rd District, and welcome to the place where we can share multiple perspectives to get to the truth, and together we can work on solutions to the problems that vex our nation. Please hit the subscribe button and the bell for notifications. It will really help me keep this content flowing. So, I want to talk about the recent primaries, both Democratic and Republican. And since the Dems voted first, let's see what their response was to the anointing of their party leader. Biden sweeps the state. Well, let's dig into that, shall we? Out of a little more than 5 million people in South Carolina, there is 3,403,000 registered voters. The number of those voters that are registered as Democrat is 1,530,000, making it almost 45%. A lot more than most people think. You want to guess how many actually voted for President Biden in the primary? I'll give you a second. Only 131,472. That's only 9% of the folks that have actually taken the time to register as a Democratic voter. And worse, only 4% of all registered voters in South Carolina. So, the Dems put out this headline is based on only 4% of South Carolina's voting population. So, why did so few Democrats vote in the primary? Could it have something to do with the expectations of the upcoming Republican primary? So, let's discuss the Republican primary from this past weekend. Out of the same 3,403,000 registered voters in South Carolina, only 1,531,000 are registered as Republicans. That's right at 45% of the registered voters, and surprisingly, almost the same percentages as registered Democrats. So how many turned out to decide the choice of Trump versus Haley, a vote that will determine the leadership of the Republican Party? 757,000. Only 50% of the registered Republicans bothered to even come out on what should have been the most important decision within the party. Taking the totality of South Carolina registered voters, all those who have a R or a D on their voting registration, and add in the 354,000 voters who are listed as unaffiliated or independent, and we have the fact that only 23.4% of registered voters even participated in this last primary. Why do we think that is? One, many registered Democrats did not vote for Biden and held their votes for the Republican primary to vote for the only anti-Trump choice, Nikki Haley. And two, because Haley refused to talk to those independents and centrist Democrats who were looking for a reason to vote for her, well, she never gave them one. She never even spoke to them. She kept acting like she was still running a campaign fighting for the 25% of the population that is the Republican base, a base that had discarded her years ago. She was great at talking about the fears of Trump being elected. Her favorite phrase, chaos follows him, among others. But she never stated how she would govern, how she would develop policies that are, though rooted in conservatism, but would also reflect a very diverse and complex nation with competing interests and expectations. That is what the vast majority of people want, but what candidates refuse to do. And Nikki Haley more than likely lost a golden opportunity to be the first woman president of the United States because she refused to look beyond the fight she's in and look up and remind herself of what she is really fighting for. So, is it true the low participation means people don't care? Or are voters telling us what they want by not buying into the only products being made available? Is there a huge opportunity for more independent candidates to come forward? Or has the monopolistic party machinery made other options so difficult to produce that there is a very small and narrow supply chain of viable alternatives? I have some thoughts on this, but I want to hear from you. What do y'all think? Leave your comments below. I'll follow up after the Big Tuesday primary round with my thoughts on solutions to these problems and how I will fight for them when elected to the House of Representatives. Click on the links here and go to my webpage and learn more about my campaign to fix America. And until next time, place, purpose, and preservation. Take care.